Have you ever been getting it on either on your own or with your partner and had the big O and found that you really felt sleepy, tired and needed to sleep straight after it? It is the exact same hormone that is released in that big O that is responsible for your letdown during breastfeeding, and all of the research shows that mums who are breastfeeding their babies drift off to sleep far easier, get a better quality of sleep at night and overall have a longer duration of sleep during breastfeeding. And oxytocin is responsible for that big O. Now, oxytocin during breastfeeding is part of the milk ejection reflex. Oxytocin helps to promote sleep, induce sleep. Now, as with most women's health research, we are significantly lacking, particularly in the breastfeeding field. It's a real anger and frustration of mine. We have a lot of research studies looking at the impact of SEX and the impact of oxytocin that is released during a big O and how that improves sleep quality and also sleep duration of people. Now, during the big O, oxytocin is released, and as you can see in this particular study, the big O helped people get off to sleep far quicker, but they also helped them have a better duration and quality of sleep. All of these studies look at both men and women impacts of oxytocin. And oxytocin is released by the posterior pituitary gland. It also helps to induce the parasympathetic nervous systems. So what we do is we have two systems in our autonomic nervous system. You've got your sympathetic, your fight or flight system. You've got your parasympathetic one. This is the one that helps us drift off to sleep. This is the one that helps to reduce our heart rate, to help us in times of stress, reduce that anxiety, reduce those cortisol levels. And basically what happens is when oxytocin is released, it helps to trigger the parasympathetic nervous system, and it helps us to reduce our heart rate, helps to give a calming response within our body, helps to reduce stress, reduce anxieties, and in turn it helps to promote sleep. And this is why most of the studies that look at oxytocin and sleep inducement and sleep duration have been based around the big O being released during SEX. And you can see clearly from this particular study that sleep quality and sleep onset increases better with the big O. So what about breastfeeding in particular and the effect of feeding method on sleep duration and maternal well-being and also the onset of sleep? Now, as I said at the start, we have very limited research on women's health in general, especially when it comes to breastfeeding. We do have this really large study. Now, this study is not to shame anybody who is formula feeding their baby whatsoever. As you may have seen from previous videos, I believe in choice, I believe in support, and I believe in doing what is right for you and your baby. But it does dispel the myth that mums who formula feed get better sleep than mums who breastfeed. And this is a large study of 6,410 mums who had babies between 0 months and 12 months of age. And those mums who were breastfeeding reported significantly more hours of sleep in that first year, much better physical health, more energy, and lower rates of depression than mixed or formula feeding mothers. And so the reason women are overcome with a real tiredness when they are breastfeeding their baby is because of that oxytocin and because of that relaxing effect that oxytocin has on that parasympathetic nervous system, helping you to be able to relax more but also fall to sleep much quicker. And it's why breastfeeding at night can help mums get to sleep far quicker, far easier. And this is where if you are trying to nap during the day, breastfeeding before you have a nap can help induce that sleep far easier if you are trying to nap during the day. But particularly during at night, it's also why it's far easier to accidentally fall asleep with your baby when you are breastfeeding your baby. And why the recommendations here in the UK have changed to providing a safer co-sleeping space so that it reduces the chance of overlay. And the Lullaby Trust have lots of information on this, that it's far better to be able to safely set up for co-sleeping as opposed to falling asleep accidentally in unsafe scenarios, for example, like on a sofa. And the benefits of this is better quality sleep, easier to fall asleep, but the downside is accidentally falling asleep with your baby and being overcome with a real tiredness too. As a final point though, if you feel like your tiredness is excessive, it is always worth considering seeing your GP just to check that you aren't deficient in anything, checking your iron levels over, for example, and having a think about whether you have got a good, balanced, healthy diet and whether you may need a supplement of some sort for certain minerals and vitamins within your diet, as these all can sometimes make you feel more tired too.